Welcome to the Funded Now What podcast with your host, Andrew Lee Miller, brought to you by Growth Experts. You're in store for a chat about funding, marketing, startups, and all things growth.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to Funded Now What. I'm your host, Andrew Lee Miller, also known as Andrew Startups. And today I've got Ben Collins, the founder and CEO of Woz. It's with Woz, WOZ.com. Just raised $6 million at the end of last year to build and grow a enterprise mobile app development company. Ben, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, awesome. Nice to be here, Andrew.
Yeah, we're both in San Francisco. I got to get into the habit of noticing that far ahead of time so we can organize in person. Ben actually works in South Park area, which is amazing to do an outdoor video recording. So maybe if this goes well, we'll do another.
Yeah, round two.
Yeah, absolutely. But I didn't give the best intro there. I wanted to make it digestible for people that are out of the space, but give us a 1-minute synopsis on what the company is and what do you do with Woz.
Yeah, Woz is an AI business builder. So our whole goal is around removing barriers to business building, giving everyone the ability to build really high quality, business quality mobile applications. And that's about the 30-second version, and we can go as deep into as much detail as you like.
Yeah. So you mentioned offline that there's a self-serve side to it, and then there's the enterprise custom solution side. Can you talk us through, like what types of customers and what are some of the stuff that you're building for people?
Yeah, for sure. So our whole vision is about building businesses. And when we kind of decided to start this company around 18 months ago, we were like, we wanted to hone in on kind of what was like the smallest possible version of a business. Mm-hmm. And for us, that was a mobile app. It's like, okay, what is the smallest possible version of a contained business? Let's start there, and then we'll expand over time. So our core technology is not limited to mobile apps. It's cross-platform, and we'll shortly be moving into building, full-on vertical software with AI. But yeah, starting with mobile apps, our customers, so it's entrepreneurs and business owners at the moment. So that's kind of small teams, people who may have an existing business and they want to layer on a software product element to that. Maybe they're a consultant or a doctor or a coach of some sort. And then the other is kind of net new businesses. So teams that are launching net new products, not related to an existing business. And then we also have some kind of more, legacy businesses as well that just want to move faster. Maybe they have a legacy solution and they use Woz to just kind of build a new version much faster. That would have been than like their existing team or their existing agency could have done.
And so those last clients, they're building products for their internal use?
No, it's all external facing. Yeah. So we kind of differentiate on that. We're not building internal tools. The reason being is that we've kind of built a system. Our whole system is around business quality software. So we've architected a system that is really robust, focuses on using like engineering best practice. We have a whole really rigid kind of validation pipeline that we run our AI generated code through. The whole idea is that the code we produce should be able to serve as the foundation of a lasting growing business. So it needs to look like a really experienced human engineering team built it.
That's a big differentiator from just like Make or N8N or something like that.
For sure. Yeah, we I think we've seen it over the last 6 to 9 months that there's a lot of tools where AI can create things that they look great on the surface, and you look kind of under the hood and you're like, well, this isn't something I want to continue building on, especially as a developer who's going to be responsible for the performance of this moving forward, right? You don't want to inherit something that's just like really kind of fragile. And so our whole aim is like, if we're going to build, business quality software, people are going to invest their time, energy, resources into growing a business. It has to be something that they are comfortable owning and maintaining into the future. And so we get that feedback a lot. If a developer, or we work with agencies as well, when they look kind of like under the hood at the code that we build at Woz, there's a very clear difference between kind of the structure and quality versus if you were to look under the hood at kind of something made on like a Lovable or Bolt or any sort of kind of MVP prototyping tool.
For now, there's a big gap there. We know
for now,
gap.
Yeah. I mean, like what a time to be alive, right? I think
absolutely.
There's been a massive inflection point in the last 8 weeks around just a 8 weeks. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're kind of messing around with Claude Code at all, but Opus 4.5 was kind of released in November. I think that Claude Code obviously uses Opus 4.5 in addition to other models and gives it access to a whole bunch of different tools and capabilities. And, we've seen a really like step change in terms of capabilities in the last 2 months.
Yeah. And then alongside that, it's still good for you because their appetite for AI powered development grows as well. And they realize internally that they're slow and they're going to miss this boat if they don't just start investing. So I think it helps as a B2B sales org as well, that people go and dip their toes in, get shitty code that a non-tech decision maker goes, hey, we'll just use these tools to build this stuff really cheap. And then the CTO comes in and is like, this is crap. We can't build forever. And that's when you guys come in. So sounds like there's a clear marketing framework that I hear there. But before we get into that, walk me through, $6 million seed round. It's not a small amount of money. Obviously, there's got to be a platform aspect here. Nobody's investing $6 million in a dev shop. So walk us through how you were able to raise that money and what did you learn in that process?
Yeah, we were really, fortunate to raise a meaningful financing round. I think a lot it speaks to kind of the quality of the team that we've assembled, the quality of engineering talent we have, and our ambition and vision for the future. So yeah, very much we have a big vision. I think it all kind of goes back to this idea of removing barriers to business building. So giving people access to building really high quality product. I think there's a lot of negative storylines out there about AI replacing jobs, and people are really scared. I think the flip side of that is that there's a huge opportunity for people with agency and ambition to build things and kind of be their own boss and be their own company. I think there's a huge, and the timing just really works out well where we have this new generation of people coming up who aren't so interested in signing up for a 9-to-5 lifestyle, who are becoming their own boss in their own business by being content creators or influencers. And I think kind of this AI enabled entrepreneurial economy that's emerging is just like the next evolution of that. So yeah, we intend to be a very, very large enabling platform in this shift towards kind of small entrepreneurial people.
That's good. It's important to have a big vision to get people's checks. But what else did you learn? It's been 2025 was a little bit harder than I think people thought to raise money for AI startups. It was not like 2024 where they were like, AI, okay, here's a check. I'm sure you had a tougher time than your predecessors in the space. So
for sure.
What were some of the learnings there?
Yeah, I mean, I think like any fundraise, it's not about getting everyone to say yes, right? It's about getting 1, 2, 3 people to say yes. So you can afford a lot of no's. So you got to keep grinding. You got to stay true to stay true to your vision and your conviction, right? It's kind of, I don't think fundraising is convincing people to see it the way you do. It's finding people who see it very similarly to you already. And they want to be a part of that journey with you. So I think we learned that for sure. And then we were part of the Y Combinator program, which obviously helps a lot for fundraising, right? You get a lot of visibility. It helps you set up meetings with investors who are actively investing in the space that you're building. So like that was a huge leg up for sure. Because like you said, you see a lot of these mega rounds being announced, right? And if you look at just the volume of VC dollars being invested, like the volume is massive, but a lot of that is going to these like mega rounds in the anointed leaders. So yeah, I think it's still tough for early stage companies to raise for sure.
What YC makes a lot of stuff easier. It also puts a lot of pressure on you, I think, as opposed to being able to like build quietly. You're a YC startup, you better fucking succeed. But how was that process? Like how hard was it to get into YC? How did that happen for you? Was that a goal of yours that you're like, we got to get into YC, or did you get an intro and just fell in your lap?
Yeah, it wasn't. No, I mean, I think somewhere in the middle, probably. My co-founder did Y Combinator for his prior company in 2017. So we knew a lot of the value of being part of that network.
Yeah.
And so, we knew we would apply. In terms of like how hard it is to get in, I think if you just look at the numbers, it's extremely difficult to get in. If you look at the acceptance rate, obviously it helps having my co-founder who had done it previously.
Did they exit or fail the last one?
I guess neither. The company's still around. It's still going. Again. But yeah.
That's a success. So, then. 6-7 years in business at post YC is the same as an IPO or an exit. Percentage wise.
Percentage wise, yeah.
The rarity of it for those kind of wins. If you keep it lasting, I mean, a tech business 6 years is insane.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have to ask him. I don't know. You might have been happier at the IPO. Probably, yeah. I'm happier that. Yeah. I guess the rest of us are happier that it's in the IPO. But it was. I mean, I would recommend doing the program to anyone who has the opportunity. I think there's there's a couple of huge benefits. One, you just get exposed to really ambitious, smart, talented people in both the partners and the other companies in your cohort. You get to take advantage of their massive network in Silicon Valley, which opens a lot of doors. And then it helps a lot with fundraising. So I would take advantage.
You have it in your LinkedIn, like everybody. I don't know if they tell you at YC, they're like, put YC in your batch, in your LinkedIn name. So when you do outreach, people are like, oh, fuck, I should accept this from this YC. It literally makes that much of a difference.
Yes, it does.
I posted on Twitter this morning. I didn't check. I should have checked before. Like, interviewing YC founder today, what should I ask him? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't better than my questions are going to be already. But it's a thing. Anyway, cool. So when you raised money, like, where were you guys at client-wise? Like, were you already closing big logos and with some case studies? Were you at like LOIs but not closed yet?
So I think the interesting thing about our business is, right, like, we're not really going after big logos or like super recognizable names, right? It's kind of, smaller businesses, service businesses, or businesses that are just getting off the ground. But we did have a couple of customers at the time of fundraising, which I think was helpful. And then, I'd say the product was in like was in a demoable position, right? So we focused on, and it's obviously come in an enormous way since then. But you always gotta, I think, if you're building a tech product, it's hard to paint a picture in someone's mind without having some sort of demonstration. And I think especially now, the bar for what you have when fundraising has just been elevated so much by AI in the last couple of years that it's almost like it's a requirement, really.
Of course. Yeah, no, I've always said your idea is worth shit. It's about the execution, but now it's like your business isn't shit unless you've got some MRR coming in
Yeah.
before, and happy customers. I get, and we have the same target. I only work with early stage companies that are like not a name yet. That's my job, is to make them a name. But unfortunately, I have like all these logos. I mean, obviously I've been doing this a long time. Some of them become 8-9 figure companies, but the nature of it is you don't get those logos, but they're still logos. You need that.
Yeah.
But the more, the more question marks you can cross out for an investor, the easier it is. I always say that. So like, is this company viable? Who are they selling to? Sometimes like 10% of the companies I work with are pre-funding because they just really love what they're doing. And even, getting them customers organically without having to spend money on paid user acquisition is a great signifier that people really want this thing and helps them raise money. So perfect segue into the next series of questions. What are you doing to get new customers now, those net new customers you talked about specifically?
Yeah. It's a great question. It's good timing too, because we're kind of about on the eve of releasing like V2 of our product, which we think will be the best mobile app builder in the world. We put a lot of engineering, time, energy, effort, resources into kind of laying a really, really solid foundation. We're confident we'll have the best solution in the world, and now it's getting in front of the right people. So yeah, it's a combination of things. And I think there'll be some amount of experimentation and learning over the next couple months that we're setting up for. But yeah, we're doing a kind of a mix of really targeted outreach to some folks that are higher value, where that makes sense. And then we're also starting to invest in some more organic content and bringing on some folks to lead marketing efforts for specific groups. So
interesting. Okay. First of all, I love that you've already landed on that you need to say you're the best. Obviously, the product needs to back that up. But anytime I work with AI founders, I mean, in the last 6 months, because it's just gotten really crowded I have a client in the voice AI space, and they were doing outreach before I joined saying, yeah, we're a voice AI technology. Like, you got to recognize the people you're reaching out to have already been hit up by someone else. They know this stuff exists. So you should make your product the best, and that should be your pitch, because they know that they need, most people that you reach out to know that they need a solution like this, but they want the best. And if you're actually the best, that's going to get a much better response rate. Even when you're doing PR and getting podcast interviews, we've built the sound clip. What you said, the best app builder, period, is absolutely the right way to say it. It's not just the fastest because it's AI enabled. It's not just more cost effective because it's AI enabled. It's actually the best, period, because it's AI powered or whatever. And so I love that. Can you walk us through any of those experiments, or, is there any gap in that testing that you think I might be able to help guide you guys on?
Yeah, well, something super interesting. Like, I think there's been some kind of AI companies that caught fire over the last 12 months. Well, obviously before that, like ChatGPT, but I think in our space, more like Replit and Lovable have done a job kind of building global brands. Yeah. And they kind of ran this playbook, which was like really broad marketing at consumers. And now they're using that to get enterprise contracts, basically. Yep. And so I'm curious, like, you're the marketing guy here. What would be your strategy? How do you think, like, okay, they executed that strategy. From my perspective, it seems like it's working pretty well. Yeah. What do you think about that as a strategy for these kind of AI prosumer-ish products?
Yeah. I think that it's easier to get consumers quickly for this kind of stuff because it's like free to get started, and they can play. If it is like that and it's like a freemium thing, then everybody wants to try the next new thing. They also have a huge paid ad budget. And so what seems like organic is not organic. Like, you can see every single executive at Lovable has hundreds of thousands of followers. There's no way to do that on LinkedIn without spending money. So I would bet my life that they were paying to boost their content in the early days. And even if they deny it, I would love to see the screenshots to back that up. But so I think it can be worrisome when a founding team is looking at companies that are hundreds of millions raised and trying to replicate that playbook. So, I also don't really like relying only on organic stuff. We have to be comfortable to pay to play. There's a reason, Reid Hoffman sold LinkedIn for 19 billion. There's a reason Zuckerberg's the richest dude in the world. It's pay to play environment. But we want, in that testing phase, we want to have outbound tested, inbound testing, and paid and organic, like as much tests as possible. But you want to make sure that you're able to know what a minimum viable sample is before giving up on a strategy. And so I think the playbook, like you said, it's there. It was also a different time 12 months ago. Like they were the first to do this and got a ton of earned media out of it. But I think being the best, like you said, is a whole new thing. Saying, the technology's come way further. Do you really compete with Lovable? Is the product superior to what? Are you saying that you're superior to Lovable?
Well, they don't build mobile apps, and that's what we focus on. So, it is better than Lovable. And then that's our whole thing is we build more complex. So like Lovable is beautiful from a top down design UI layer. We're more narrow and focused on enabling more complexity. So much more robust technology, much more complex applications.
That's the difference between your marketing strategies. Like they were spray and pray because anyone can build anything, and you're really narrow focused. So you don't want to try and replicate their same marketing playbook. I think that on the outreach side, you want to test reaching out on email versus LinkedIn versus like DMs to businesses on Twitter and Instagram, because believe it or not, sometimes that stuff works really well because the small business, it goes direct to the owner, or they have a dedicated marketing person who surfaces that up. Hey, I think we should use this thing. And so I want outreach to be the first thing that you really focus on, because you need to test messaging, you need to test platform, test types of content, and test the targets that really respond most. When it's narrow like that, when I hear those words, that's like a red flag towards like a big spray and pray content and social approach, because not everybody is going to be interested in this thing. So the targeted outreach helps us figure out very quickly, like in a matter of a week or two, this is the target, this is the thing they're interested in, this is the type of content, and this is the platform. And then we just go layer over that with paid stuff and hit those same people at scale with paid messaging. And that tends to be what I would recommend for this. At the same time, we're doing some inbound stuff that kind of takes time, 30 to 60 days to really take off. Anytime you are in a space with huge brand names like that, we want to create like listicles and how-to articles, how to build your app for your business in 2026, or the best AI-powered app builders, things. So that's a 1 week AI effort to bust out dozens of those articles, but they take 60 to 90 days to get indexed and ranked by Google. But the traffic is crazy when it does. Obviously, there's some SEO work you want to do on your website first. You need some validating links. Doing stuff like this, coming on random targeted podcasts are good because we put that out on social media. I have a good domain rank and a lot of links pointing to me. It validates you guys as a domain. And obviously I'll include your hyperlink, etc. GEO stuff it's very nascent. I'm actually publishing a book when I finally get around to reading my own book. That's the last step. I wrote it, I edited it, and now I have to just read it as a reader, which is tough. So that will get published, but I think we haven't even scraped the tip of the iceberg. Like the percentage of companies that are really focusing on publishing those listicles and those how-to articles is very limited. And you're in this gray hat era right now where you can write your own content, putting your own business as number one, which sounds like your product backs that up. And then you could put the Lovable and the other companies below you because they're not app builders and they're not, they're not narrow and all the things that you mentioned. So those articles get considered by the AI search tools as unbiased because you rank 10 other below you.
And where do you publish those articles?
You publish those articles on your own blog.
Really?
After you get off this call, if you go search normally I tell people go search top fractional CMO in San Francisco for startups, and you'll see me come up it's my article that I wrote, and I'm number one. But again, I know I back that up because 20 years of experience. I've driven my success is digital and documented, so I can back that up. But it's gone down. I haven't focused on it since March of 2025, doing it myself. So I need to get back out there. But if you search like anything, like top startups in South Park, San Francisco. Well, not that one. That's too niche. But any top restaurant thing, you'll see a dynamically populated page that was created by Yelp like 10 years ago, and that's basically how you want it to be. It's a directory listing structure to your website. So you have a homepage, you have your services page that are optimized individually, and then you have these blog articles that are really long tail, like almost conversational searches. Discussions that someone will have with AI, and the AI looks, oh shit, there's an article that grabs it and looks like, oh, these are the results that you want. And there's some other things you have to do to the article. It needs to be keyword dense, but it also has to have like FAQ section and a summary at the top, because the AI is looking for the quickest, easiest response. And we know that that's the way the internet is going. Like the human internet is dying at a rapid rate, and so we're creating for that. So that's one thing that takes time. The same thing with PR. It takes time again, you've raised some money, you could pay someone to do this, but I highly recommend early stage startups get an intern rather than a senior level marketer. I think it's a little bit early, maybe 3-4 months from now, after that new V2 is launched and you've finalized that marketing playbook through the tests that you're going to run on your own. You want a junior marketer, somebody that can come in and help execute all that stuff, but you just do light management. You don't need a senior level person that doesn't know what the stack is going to be before they even get there. Whereas a few months from now, it's like, oh, we need an expert at these channels who's going to 10x those channels. I think is a lot lower failure rate in that first marketing hire. It's one of the saddest things. Like an early stage company is so excited. An investor made an intro to a marketer, or we got someone from Apple or this other YC company, but you didn't, just because they're YC, you didn't realize they had a 10-person marketing team underneath them, and they don't roll their sleeves up anymore, which you got to think of yourselves as a early stage startup, more than a YC company, more than an AI company. You're an early stage startup. That means you need a marketer that's why I like junior marketers. Now they're AI enabled. Obviously, shameless plug a little bit. If you can get a fractional senior person over the top me, that's what I do. But it's been a really successful model because of that. Like the failure rate of those first marketing hires is quite high. Are you an engineer yourself?
Yeah.
So that's when it's risky. As an engineer tries to hire in marketing, it's like, that guy sold himself really good. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No. Yeah, I think, the marketing person should sell themselves. I feel like I am getting sold when I interview marketing people.
Yeah, I guess everybody tries to sell themselves when they're like in a job interview, but moreover, you should be looking for passion and like a desire to do those channels so once you learn that those channels that really work for you, you keep that information yourself, but you're interviewing that person looking for those green flags along those things. Like, what have you done with outreach? Oh, I had this success, so I think that makes it a lot less risky. But those are the three things that I would focus on. I think that so LinkedIn marketing is a whole nother beast right now. There's a lot of pieces to LinkedIn marketing, founder profile. You're talking about AI app building, why it's so much more cost effective and faster, why you're the best. The company is literally just talking about the product and customer acquisition related statistical stuff. Like, the average internal team takes 18 months to build an app. We do it in days, blah, 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 that kind of strategy. But then and I think I've only talked about this once, we really like doing low budget paid ad testing to specific companies. So on LinkedIn, you can enter company names. Barely anybody does this. You can create an extremely small audience. So let's say you have 500, or even just industries, which is a little wider, but the company name and then the role in the company is the coolest thing. Like, have AI give me 200 companies that need our product, that definitely are in these, that are ICP and then you get the company names from the AI, and that junior marketer can manually upload or type out each company name and then the 2 decision-making roles. That $500 a month ad, because it's only targeting 200 companies, 2 roles in the company, it's a small audience, coupled with the outreach, works insane, because they have no idea that you're only showing the ad to them.
Yeah.
And then you go from being an unknown company to, I'm fucking seeing these guys everywhere, we have to meet with them. Same thing goes, by the way, next time when you're raising an A round, we do that less on LinkedIn, more on Google Display. We'll do retargeting during the fund, like while founders are going and pitching, because VC gets an email from the company and then goes to the website. Yeah, I'm not that interested or whatever. We're busy. We're looking at 300 companies a month. But then they see you fucking everywhere for a month, and they're not technical. I mean, maybe if they think they are, but they're like, dude, we got to meet with these guys. They figured out. Anyway, so you inundate them with different content too. It's like a case study. It's a happy testimonial video, and they're like, oh, fuck, people are really using this thing. And that, I think, can open a door. So some LinkedIn stuff with paid testing, the outreach. Do you have outreach going already for the company?
On LinkedIn, I do. Yeah. Email. We do email and LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay. What tool are you using for LinkedIn outreach? Can you say, or you built something internally, or?
No, we're using a tool. I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest.
Okay. Then it's not that great then. No, I'm just kidding. How's that going?
We got a bunch of different campaigns going. So I think okay. Some better than some better than others. I think we're still iterating on the right messaging and and the right content.
The point of it is figuring that out. I'll tell you, the messaging is what you said at the beginning. Like, hey, I invented. We're in Silicon Valley. We have the best app builder, period.
Yeah.
I think that's really the best, because everybody's already seen the worst and they've tried to do it themselves. They're trying, that's really, you're up against, do we build this internally? Do we use a shittier thing that's legacy that's already been out there for the last 6 months or whatever?
Yeah.
Or you want to fall in their lap when they're doing research, like when there's something top of mind from their boss, or, I mean, is it C-level people that you're reaching out to, or who's the decision makers that you're touching?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the kind of campaign we're running and who it's targeted at. Certainly, when we're talking to agencies or outsourced development shops, we're looking for C-level founder, owner, decision maker.
So, that's interesting on the partnership stuff. So, I didn't think about that. So you're trying to power other dev shops, like white label, or what are you reaching out to other builders for?
They can just use our tool. Yeah, it's available for them to use their tool and serve their customers.
Nice. Okay. All right, I got a growth hacking idea for you then on the so there's a website called Clutch. Do you know Clutch?
No.
Oh, this is going to be huge. Clutch is the Yelp of agencies. Okay. So Clutch, it's clutch.co. They've been really going down. Hopefully they hear this, because they used to make me tons of money when they had top search ranking. So the only place I ever used to spend money, I was very anti, my whole career is about growth, organic growth hacking and stuff like that. So I was very anti ever spending money as a marketer for my business, but we spent money on Clutch because they used to have top rank for any agency, any type of search around an agency. I need a digital marketing agency. I need a software development agency. It's gone down a lot, but they still have all the listings. So you can scrape that for every potential agency, software development, marketing, any partner you would ever need. They're all there. And you could also hire someone in Bangladesh on Fiverr for $5 an hour, is double what the average is. So I love paying really high salaries out there. And you can get someone to manually go on there and send a DM to every company, and it will get delivered to a decision maker because it's a lead gen source. So you can fill out a thing for free there as a lead. So that's a one-to-many approach for you, but even scraping out of that and doing email marketing to them,
Yeah, you
You
got
guys,
any other hacks like that? I've been thinking about doing something similar for like Upwork and Fiverr.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, do that. I think that's the best way to hit up the agency side. Like on the other customer side, I think maybe doing a webinar, and about this could be boring, but it's good content. It's worth testing. An entrepreneur AI app building workshop where they come and they learn about how to build products with AI, but you're actually just showing them how to use the platform.
yeah,
Something there. I think what we find is when you do the outreach for a while, you get the top 10% of interested people like move forward, especially when there's a self-service thing. But most people just add you and stay connected to you on LinkedIn, and then you have a content strategy on LinkedIn that converts them later on. But if you have a event invite, hey, there's this free event for business owners, come and learn about the future of AI app development. you know uh, it's January or February. Fuck, it's February already. It's the beginning of the year, and people are like, I know I need to do these things. So you can often get a lot more people to come to those webinars than you can to take a separate call with you to learn and get a demo. So then you can give a bunch of demos at once and then get some leads out of that. And you can also run ads to that free event, a couple $1,000. You'll have 100 attendees, and then you go on, you pitch, you do the presentation, you demo. That should drive a lot of signups and even some potential follow-up enterprise level customers. So that's an idea. I really like running ads down a event webinar funnel for stuff like this. I think the PR is a huge opportunity. Again, if you have the best in class, then that's the message. Like
yeah,
everybody was talking about Lovable for so long, but this is different. Like you said, narrow. We actually are business grade. Every company kind of wasted a lot of time trying to build shit in Lovable and then gave up. On my end, I built stuff in Replit and Lovable, and then I just paid a team to finish it, and it's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
it's still,
Exactly.
it
It's
would have
a
been
yeah,
cheaper if I had just used
yeah,
Woz probably from the
yeah.
beginning. But now that I know you're there, I'm sure you'll hook me up with a free account. But if you don't, I won't promote you. No, I'm kidding. No. So other growth hack. So the PR stuff can really be growth hacked as well. Like you use AI, you write a press release, you edit it a little bit, but at least you no longer need to hire a marketing agency to even figure out how to
Yeah,
write that story. And then what I have the junior marketers do is you set up Google alerts for anytime someone's talking about AI app builder, AI enterprise tools for whatever, like all the keywords that might surface a writer, reporter, podcast host, someone that has an audience of your potential customers. It could be, entrepreneur conference, entrepreneur podcast, whatever the keywords might be. Anytime they're, once a day, 20 minutes a day, they're just checking those articles. On those articles, it's usually the author's name is clickable and has their Twitter or their email. So they're manually building that list to a couple hundred people. You can also purchase the list, but this is the best way. Putting the blood, sweat, and tears in really gets a great result because that content's freshly published. They're writing currently about what you're on, like it's hitting them in a timely manner. And then, when you have this V2 release, hey, we tell these 500 reporters and writers, and you get, interviews, links, a lot of value from driving inbound, but also like it helps with the outbound. Like if I get a message, I saw your ad, that's great. But if I didn't see your ad and I get a message on LinkedIn or email and I go to Google and I see a recent article in, it could be TechCrunch, it could be even if it's unknown, there's a huge publication in Europe called Tech Radar, millions of readers. I get clients in that all the time because the publication has a great domain rank and it gets on Google News. So if people
yeah,
search the name of the company, they're like, oh shit, it's not some little startup, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the YC shit doesn't mean anything to the customers you're reaching out to. So we got to validate it in other ways, and so it means a lot in the Bay Area though. So you could also start here. People are very tech savvy. I don't know. Maybe they don't need an AI builder. They're on their, I don't know. Are you having do
Yeah,
you
I
have any
think yeah,
clients
I think
based in California?
LA, but yeah, Bay Area is probably not
Yeah.
the not the sweet
Yeah.
spot for us. So
Yeah. it's the sweet spot for me because everyone's an engineer building shit and has no clue about marketing, but selling to engineers what you do, they're like, no. But I will still bring it up. On Tuesdays, I work with a team that is very tech, super AI focused. I'm going to see if they know about Woz, and if not,
what do they do?
They're the AI voice tech company. They're called Q Concierge. So they have the best. And it's funny, I had to like ring them around the neck and be like, we are the fucking best. So the stuff that you're saying is what took me a while to convince them. But their tech, they have the best voice AI for hospitality in the world. Like 90% of callers have no idea they're speaking to AI, even after like 5-10 minutes on the phone. And there's some unique things there. I'm publicly allowed to say it now. I had to like get their approval for a long time, but they have typing sounds in the background. So it sounds like it's a real call center. And then they trained the AI with paid, expensive Netflix level voice actors. So like it sounds really good. And the hesitation is very short. So they've got this insane tech. And beforehand they were like doing one-to-one outreach, and people were like, yeah, I've already heard this pitch a million times. What's different about you guys? And then they would say, well, and then I came in, I was like, well, what's different is we're the only one that no one knows it's AI, period. And so anyway, their CTO is very focused on marketing, doing everything with AI. And so he's like the absolute epitome of AI enabled. Like, I consider myself on a world level pretty high, but here in the Bay, we're really cutting edge, and I always tell people we're like slightly in the future, like a little bit. Bitcoin. It's early on Bitcoin because of a shared office. A guy was like Bitcoin all the time. I was like, all right, so we're a little bit in the future, which makes sense that you guys are here. And so I'll bring that up. But okay, that was a lot.
That was awesome.
There's some valuable things in there, but any questions before I let you go, Ben, on any of the stuff that
No, Andrew, this was awesome. Maybe I'll follow up offline if anything comes up, but I think I got three or four solid growth hack strategies that I'm going to have to give a shot.
The thing is, don't let yourself be the bottleneck in marketing. You have a million other things to focus on. You're a YC startup. Any kid from Berkeley or Stanford will come and intern for you. So put up an internship posting, spend the week meeting like 3 or 4 or 5 kids, get an intern. You have to give them a little stipend, California laws, but the work ethic is through the roof. And then you're able to hire that person full time after. And that ends up being a huge delta between what they would charge for a marketing manager role to that fresh grad, because they're honed in already. I think that's probably the best thing for you guys, so that you're not trying to become a marketer. You stick with what you're good at. Yeah, hit me up offline. Really appreciate you being here. Ton of value at the beginning about the fundraising round. There was a great sound clip there about you got to eat the nose or something. Everybody says some version about that. You have to keep going, but you have to appreciate the nose. I used to work with this sales agency called Close Loop. Like, we partner, we bring each other clients. It's often the same time that you need sales and marketing. And there's this guy, Ned Eric, shout out to Ned. He always used to say, I love getting no's, because every 4 no's, there's a fucking yes coming right after that. So, you just eat the nose. So
eat the nose.
Congrats on everything. We're trying to make the world a better place, one app at a time. And
let's do it.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Take care, my friend.
That has been another episode of the Funded Now What podcast with your host, Andrew Lee Miller, brought to you by Growth Experts. If you liked this episode, please subscribe. And if you really liked it, please share with other founders and entrepreneurs. Thanks. And we'll see you in the next episode.